You're listening and watching to a very special podcast. Here we have more on Katrina Salvatore. Enjoy. They walked around the island. It was pretty eerie and quiet. Just then they could hear the startling music. It sounded old and out of tune, but this place did used to be an attraction for a while. For some reason it was supposed to be made into something better, but nothing came of it and was abandoned, forgotten. It had an eerie feeling to it. Spooky, isn't it? Ben said teasingly. Spooky, my ass. This is one heck of an eerie area. Very, very scary, isn't it? Katrina remarked. Maybe it's just like in that one story. You know, the ones about something to do with those crazy stories about how people go to these abandoned parks and they see something creepy. Lunda said. Dirge laughed, and so did his lackey friend. My, somebody has been reading a lot of fiction. You actually believe that's going to happen? The lackey friend said, Come now, don't be such a little pussy. A little scaredy cat, or just a little chicken. Lunda felt hurt. That's when Thaljev put an arm around his friend and said to Dirge, Well, things like that also happen in real life. A lot of crazy stuff, just like on the news. Especially with creepy clowns in cemeteries. Dirge's face fell. He looked terrified. Iris teased him now and laughed. Well, somebody's afraid of clowns now, aren't they? Ooh, look! I see a clown right there. Where? Dirge said. Made you look. Lunda, Thaljev, and Iris burst out laughing. Ben couldn't help but smile. He felt guilty that Lunda was being teased. However, he had to admit, he's pretty lucky to have two great friends by his side. Despite bickering like children, they seemed to be very close, like good friends. It was actually pretty sweet. They continued on ahead throughout the island, but then they heard a noise. Guys? What was that? Katrina said. They all looked around. That's when Lunda let out a little squeal. He pointed over. It looked like a shadow. Could it be an infestation? However, Thaljev approached it calmly, and he grinned. Would you look at this? What is it? Lunda asked. Iris could see it too. It's a tortoise. No, it's a turtle. What difference does it make? The poor thing was hissing a little bit because, well, it didn't seem like it wanted to be touched, but after the three were patting its shell lightly and comforting, the large animal in its shell begin to become friendly. Ben just looked around. I have to admit, this is quite for the taking, Ben said. They all continue further after the interactions with the large tortoise or turtle. As they begin to advance, they came across some sort of cage. Dirge's lackey friend just went in to see, and everyone could look to see a cage. Well, it looked more like a sanctuary for birds, but they decided to go in and investigate. They couldn't see anything at first, but once they entered inside, they were horrified to see. They knew they weren't the only ones in there. They looked up and could see eyes staring down. They were monkeys. Infestation monkeys. There was a difference between the two. Two different species of monkeys and infestation ones. Monkeys are different because they seem slim and fit. Primates would probably be, perhaps, just looking like a regular person. But, well, they actually weren't normal, unlike these ones. These infestation monkeys were more muscular, more huge. Katrina froze. Holy shit. Dirge began to look a little scared. Ben was flabbergasted. And even also, Taylor was feeling uneasy. Dirge's lackey friend was shaking in his boots. Katrina whispered, "Guys, I think we're gonna have to get out of here," she said. Thalgif, as well as Lunda and Iris, were starting to freak out just a little bit. And then it happened. Dirge's lackey friend was backing away, slowly, when all of a sudden, he slipped, and then he fell down with a smack. That's when the infestation primates begin to go nuts. They begin screaming and pounding their fists against their chest. They advance on the lackey, and then they dragged him. And what happened next was very inhuman. They began to break his bones, cut him open with their long, sharp fingernails, and begin to devour him. The lackey friend let out a scream, but he couldn't move. He was already dying out of shock from being eaten alive by these inhuman primates. Ben looked like he was going to throw up. He looked really sick to his stomach. He was very shocked, and Taylor was too. Dirge just cringed at this. Thaljev could not believe what he was hearing. And seeing, hearing the sickening sound of bones cracking and the inhuman infestation primates gobbling body parts, organs, vital organs. Londa could not look away, but he could not watch either. Iris was the same thing. They just watched with utter horror and utter fascination. Once those monkeys were distracted, they all managed to make their escape and swam back to the city. Nobody ever forgot what happened, and later on, Katrina decided to do a little research on this jewel island that was abandoned. Rumors were circulating about something to do with human sacrifices and black magic, something out of the occult. Perhaps maybe something worse, something more dark, something more evil. But that guy was a goner. Being eaten alive, torn to pieces, that must have been the most scariest way to die. Katrina wished she could have gotten that out of her head, but she didn't. She just couldn't believe it. What kind of monstrosity would have the ideal to just let someone live through all of that? It must have been pretty scary just to see that. Despite what had happened, Thaljev, Lunda, and Iris were pretty chatty about what had happened. Ben was surprised by them chatting about what had occurred. The conversation went like this. I can't believe we saw that. I'm having a hard time believing it was real. Sounds like something out of those stories on the internet. Yeah, like on that page. That's crazy. It is kind of weird. I mean, I never heard of any animals eating alive humans like that. I always thought monkeys were pretty innocent. Oh, trust us, Iris. Monkeys aren't really that innocent as you think. They are very much more scary. I'm just having a hard to believe. It was like watching a zombie movie. Yeah, a real-life zombie film right in front of us. Infestation. Primates. I guess we're gonna have to be wise next time and maybe warn people about it. I doubt they would believe us, right? Maybe not. Maybe people had similar experiences. There could be survivors. Maybe there are children there that were part of some trafficking and they were sent to this island to never be seen or heard from again, or any evidence about the trafficking. Oh, that's disgusting. Really? It could be. Katrina had to tune out from it. She didn't want to listen anymore. That's it for now. See you next time. Bye.